So now that we've got our thesis installed, we need to actually activate it. We're going to scroll down here a little bit on the left-hand menu under Appearance and click on Themes. And then go down here. You should now see that Thesis Theme is one of the options for activation. Go ahead and click on the Activate link. And then that'll do that process and it'll tell you that it's ready to rock. So by default, this is then going to put you into the thesis site options screen. If you don't get there by default or you need to find it additionally, you just go now under this new menu item that shows up on the left side that says thesis, and under site options that will bring you to this screen. So before we do anything, let's very quickly go up to the title of your WordPress blog, and this is an easy way. If you ever want to view your blog, you just go right up there. You can do a right mouse click and click Open Link in New Tab, and that opens a new tab so you can see what your blog looks like. Now you can see it immediately changed. The design is completely different from what it was at the default. Now it doesn't look like much here, but we're going to very quickly change that because now we're going to customize this. Now I'm not going to go over every single customization option here in Thesis because there are literally endless numbers of them. If you do purchase Thesis, you have access to their members forum and as well as all of their user manuals, and they give you a huge amount of information and make it very simple to make virtually any change you want to your blog. But I'm going to cover some of the main ones so that you can get your blog up and running, and I'll show you how quickly you can make it look very nice and professional. So what we're going to do is skip right to the design options in Thesis. So under the Thesis link over here on the left side, click on Design Options. And that's going to give you all of the layout, colors, design, font, all the different options that you can very quickly change. So let's go through some of these. Under the first one, columns, you click the little orange plus sign and it expands this open. And you can choose the number of columns, the type of layout, the size of everything, all the different elements on your blog. So by default, again, let me switch back. You can see this is currently a 3-column design. You have your content column, and then you have 2 sidebar columns. So that is currently a 3-column design. Now you can take that same 3-column design, and under column order, you can flip that around. If let's say you wanted to put a sidebar on each side of the content. So if you just change that one radio button and click the save button and then reset your blog, now you can see how that completely changed it. Now we've got a sidebar on the left, a middle content area, and another sidebar on the right. Now if you want to go to more of the traditional personal blog formatting, which is what we're going to use, we're going to change it to a 2-column layout. So let's go 2-column, and let's increase this to about 680, and let's go to 250 with this. Let's make this 620. Okay, we'll go with that. And we'll go to the column order and we'll change that with content on the left and 1 sidebar on the right. And we'll save that, and I'll flip over here and you can see what that did. So now we've got the traditional layout for more of a personal style blog. Now we're going to change a few things. Let's say that we don't really want this default image showing up over here at the top of this sidebar. So let's do away with that. You just scroll down here to the part where it says multimedia box, and right now it's set to rotating images. Let's just set it to do not show multimedia box. And then in addition to that, let's also add a couple of additional features here. Let's change the font. Now under the body, fonts, colors, and more, body and content area is where we are. You can change the font that will be applied to that section. So I really don't like the Georgia font. I typically like to use things like Verdana or Arial. Tahoma is nice. Let's go ahead and switch this and use the Tahoma font. And then here at the bottom of this section, you'll see there's a really cool little box here that says add a cool shadow effect to your layout. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and hit save. And we'll go back and view our blog again. So now you can see we've done away with the multimedia box, but we've also added this really nice shadow effect on the side. It sort of encapsulates the full content of our blog. Now, let's say we didn't want the background to be white. So if you didn't want the background to be white on the sides here, let me show you where we can go to do that. We go back to the body, and you've got two settings here. You've got site background color and page background color. So the site background color is going to be the one that's on the side edges on our current configuration. So if we just click in that box, it brings up a nice little color selector. Let's go with maybe a sort of a washed out gold color here. It's more yellow than gold, but we'll go with it. And I'll save that and we can see what that looks like. So now we have, you can see the yellow sidebars. Let me change the aspect of this real quick so you can get a little bit better idea. There we go. So we've got yellow on the background, and then we still have the white page background. Now let's say that we didn't want to use a text header. Let's say we wanted to use a graphic header for the top up here. So that can also be very easily done. Over here on the left-hand side, we just go to the header image and we hit choose file, and then we can upload a file. I've already prepared one for this, so I'm just going to grab that. And once you've got the right location to that file, you just hit the upload button. And there's a graphic header that we can use. So now that's been applied, let's jump over here and reset this again. And there we go. So now we've got a nice header in there. So this is already starting to look a little bit more professional. Now, before we go any farther, let me just real quick show you one more feature here under the design options. Let's say that you didn't like these little section lines in here that are splitting the sidebar and the header from the footer and so forth. You can very easily go in here again under body and content area and just uncheck the box that says show interior layout borders and click save again. Now if we go back and take a look, that has removed all of those. So we'll go ahead and leave them out for now. So the next thing we're going to do is address the widget controls. Now right now we just have a default widget showing up over here on the right sidebar. So if we go back to our design options and we go down under the appearance menu on the left hand side and click widgets, that will open up the widget screen. So here we have the widget screen, and we've got two sidebars available over here. Now because we're only using a single sidebar setup, the sidebar number 2 is not used. So sidebar 1 is the one that's going to be going down the right side of our blog. So over here under available widgets are all the ones that we can use. Now this is very simple, just simply drop and drag. Now I like to use this one for killer recent entries, and you drag that up and then you can have it show all recent posts. You can change the name of it if you choose. Recent posts, and we'll have it display the six most recent posts that we've put. And you can also choose to have it display the number of comments that each of those posts have. We save that. And you can also choose to maybe have your blog categories listed there. Since we don't have much content on our blog yet, there's not a lot of content that's going to show up in these sidebars. But let's go ahead and put a tag cloud over there. I don't typically use tag clouds on my blogs, but for just as a space filler, we're going to go ahead and put that on here. and then we can show. So now I can illustrate what the widgets are going to look like. So let's go ahead and reload that. Now you can see we're displaying recent posts, post categories, and tags. Now this is also an area when we get further into the lessons where you can have pretty much any content you choose. You can have advertisements over here, you can have a subscription box over here, you can add Twitter and Facebook connect buttons. All kinds of things can be added as widgets into your sidebar, which we'll get into in further lessons. So there's a few other settings that we're going to cover here. Let's go back to our dashboard. Before we end this video, let me show you a couple more things. Let's go back into our thesis menu under Design Options. And on the left-hand side here, there's a couple other things that we want to deal with. You've got a setting here called Outer Page Padding. Now what this does is essentially adds additional padding to the sides and top and bottom of your pages. So if you wanted to increase that, let me show you before I change that, let me show you exactly what that does. It's this space right here between where the text is and the edge of the page. So if we wanted to add more to that, let's say we bump that up to 3 and reset that. Now you can see we've got a lot more white space there. So that's an easy way of adjusting the padding on the sides of the pages. Now it's probably most applicable to just leave it at the default of 1, but if you're changing things around, let's say that you don't want to use a background color or have any edges at all, you just want the blog to show up as all white or all a solid color, you can just remove that page padding entirely. Another thing is the administration side. Under administration here, you can choose to remove the admin link in the footer of your blog. Some people don't like to have that there. I personally remove it because I don't like having a link to the admin login directly on my blog. Under comments, you can disable comments on pages. That way comments are only going to show up as available on the actual posts of your blog. You can also then choose, if you do disable them, if you want them to display a comments are closed message. I usually uncheck that and check disable comments on pages. There's lots of other settings that you can go through here, and again, most of this is personal preference. As you start going through here and seeing what you can do and what you can change individually for different types of pages, all kinds of things that can be adjusted. You can essentially make your installation of Thesis look however you want. So you never need to purchase another theme other than Thesis, because you can use it on, like I said, 100 blogs and have none of them look the same. So this concludes this video. At this point, you now have a professional looking theme set up that can be customized specifically for your needs, your blog, your topic, your niche. What we're going to do in the next video is actually go in and do some absolutely crucial settings in WordPress to make sure that we have everything dialed in and we're ready to start building additional pages, setting up content, and adding the power plugins that we're going to go through. We'll see you in the next video.